In this video, I'm going to break down how long it takes for you to be able to make 10K per month with Amazon FBA. I get asked this question at least 3 times every single day. So I decided to make a video about it so you understand all the stages that you're going to have to go through in order for you to get that 10K per month that most people are looking for. If you don't know me, my name is Karen Mutombo. I've been selling on Amazon for the past 5 years. And after being able to quit my job and really do Amazon full time, I've also been able to teach other employees how they can do the same. So I'm going to break it down, no BS, no nothing, really just showing you what it takes to be able to get to that point. So first of all, the very first stage, and it's always going to be the first stage every single time, is going to be your account creation. So that's really going to take anywhere from a week or two, because you're going to have to create your Amazon account. You're going to have to create your LLC, your EIN, the permit. And the EIN, it takes about like 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks to actually be official and registered in the United States, like business registration, right? So that's going to take a while in order for all of this to be set up the right way. So when it comes to Amazon and creating your account, you're obviously going to need to provide the proper documentation, like your valid ID, the government issued ID, at least 2 of them. You're going to have an interview with Amazon to make sure they're actually a real person. So this is the stage that everybody has to go through. And that usually takes anywhere between a week or 2. Now, obviously in this stage, we're not making any money, right? That's just the foundation, and getting access to the platform that's going to make you money. So this is the first stage that everyone has to go through if you want to be able to make money online and get to that 10K per month and beyond with Amazon. Now, the second stage is going to be the foundation, right? Because after you got your Amazon account, now it's time to put in the work. Now it's time to understand, okay, what is the offer and demand? You need to understand that. How many units am I supposed to purchase? What does it look like when there's, 50 sellers on one product? What does it look like whenever Amazon is on the listing and I need to compete with them? So this is where you need to understand how to read the keeper graph, which is essentially the graph that's going to show you the offer and demand, the pricing history, the competition history, how many sales estimated per month, the sales rank. These are all terms that you're going to learn, and it's part of your foundation. So this stage is super important because this is where you're going to understand, once again, Keepa, the offer and demand. You're going to understand how to navigate through your seller dashboard. So the same way that there is Amazon buyer account, you're also going to have a seller account, right? Once you go through the sign up process. So there's a whole dashboard that you're going to have to navigate through and kind of understand how to do shipments, how to check on your inventory, how to reply to customers, how to open a case if you have an issue with Amazon. So this is the whole stage in which you're going to go through. And usually to kind of really just understand the foundation, that really just takes 30 days, right? And the good thing about Amazon is that you don't necessarily need to wait until you start the foundation. You could actually just learn the foundation while you're creating your account. And while you're actually waiting to get everything set up, you're learning about the offer and demand. You're learning about knowing when to buy a product. You're learning about your margins, the cash flow, and how to survive in the jungle of business and entrepreneurship with Amazon FBA. So you're learning everything there is to know when it comes to the business model, right? So usually takes around like 30 days, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on how fast you're able to kind of assimilate the information and your learning speed, right? So in that case, that's really the second stage. Like I said, it's going to take within 30 days, and you can kind of do this simultaneously. So then you can save some time, right? Depending on how much time you really have per week. So this schedule, just so you know, as long as you have 10 to 15 hours per week, you're going to be able to do everything that I have laid out on this video and follow through all the stages and being able to get to your goal. Okay. So that's going to be the second stage. Now, the third stage is going to be the stage in which you're going to get your first sale. Because the good thing with Amazon is that the process is very repeatable. The main difference between an Amazon seller that's making 1K versus another Amazon seller that's making 10K, it's not even about the strategy. It's not even about what suppliers they're reaching out to. None of that. It's really just the capital. That's it. Okay. So it just means that another Amazon seller has more capital than you to deploy and buy inventory. But the business model, the methods to find the product, they're the exact same. So really all that means is as soon as you understand how to make 1,000 a month, let's say on Amazon, you understand how to make 10K per month. You understand how to make 20K per month because the whole process is literally repeatable. You can literally buy the same products over and over and over every single month and still make the same type of recurring income every single month, right? Without having to worry about the marketing, without having to worry about ads, because you're buying brand name products that people already recognize. Think of like Febreze, Nerf, Tide, PlayStation, Sony, Nike, Adidas. These are all brands that people already recognize and they're already buying on Amazon online. So your job as an Amazon seller is figure out, okay, where can I find this product for a low enough price for me to actually make money when I'm selling it for a higher price on Amazon. So it's arbitrage, right? So buying low, selling high. That's what it's all about. So within 20 to 30 days, that's usually when you're going to get your first sale, because by understanding the whole foundation, that's where you're going to be able to understand which is the right product for you to buy, how many units you should purchase, etc. So that's usually when you're going to get your first sale. Okay. Now, the first sale is so important because I will tell you, for me, when I got my first sale, I was at a Walmart. So I was scanning products at a Walmart, doing some retail arbitrage, doing that grind, scanning 100 products a day. And I went into the clearance section of Walmart. That's where I saw this router going for $97, scanned it, and then I checked on Amazon to see how much it was going for. And that's where I saw it was going for $255. I saw this, I was like, yo, what the... And I couldn't believe it, to be honest, but I bought the product, and right then and there, after I bought the product, I was still inside the store. I listed it for 245, 240, just to kind of be under the competition. And I wanted this to sell fast because I was really only starting with like 400 bucks, 500. So after that, after I bought the product, I went obviously inside my car and I was driving home. So as I was literally driving home, right, my product was active on Amazon, and millions of people were able to see that. And as I was literally driving home, I got the sale. I got my very first sale on Amazon, right? And after fees, after everything, I ended up profiting at $100, like net profit after shipping fees, after Amazon fees, all of that. So that was my very, very first sale. It was this router going for 97, and then I sold this for like 240, 245, right? That was years ago. But my first sale, the reason why it's so important, it really changed my whole mindset that $20 equal 1 hour of your work, right? Just like a normal 9 to 5, that's usually how much you're worth. Like $30 equal 1 hour. And I had a complete switch of mindset just for having that first sale. And for me, like my thought process when I had my first sale, I was like, man, first of all, I couldn't believe it. And then second of all, I was like, man, so you're telling me that like all I have to do to make money on Amazon is scan like 200, 300 products a day. And then whatever I'm able to find, I can actually flip that and make, $50, $10 or $80 per unit. And I can make money that way. I was like, bet, right? So for me, getting the first sale was all the proof of concept I needed to be able to go all in into Amazon FBA. And so that's why getting the first sale is so important. And I don't want you to get discouraged if you're not able to get your first sale within 30 days. Sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes it will take you, 60 days. And, it is what it is. Like it could take you longer to kind of understand the concept and how to understand the foundation, the offer and demand. So sometimes it just takes you longer, and it is what it is. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process, But now the last stage, right? For you to be able to get to that 10K per month, I'm about to tell you right now. So this is where you're going to have to delay the gratification, right? But that stage is very important because that's going to take you anywhere between 2 to 12 months. I'm not here to tell you that with Amazon, it's going to be easy. It's going to be cakewalk, all shines and rainbows. You're going to make that 10K per month in 30 days. That's not going to happen, right? This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not passive income. If anything, it could be, semi-passive after you delegate and have the right system. Once you understand, the Keepa chart, how to read the Keepa chart, how to navigate to your Seller Central account, how the offer and demand really works, and you got your first sale, you really want to double down on the process that's already working, right? And once again, the more capital you have, the faster it is going to be for you to reach that 10K per month. So in this case, like whenever you're buying a product, What's going to be very important here is on how fast you're going to get to that 10K per month is whenever you're selling the product and you're obviously getting paid from the sale that you made, how much of it are you actually going to reinvest into the business so that you can buy even more inventory, build a snowball, build some momentum so that you can get to that 10K per month. If you're using, let's say you're only starting with $500, you made $500 your first month, which is amazing. And if you're using that $500 to pay your bills right away, then it's like you're starting once again with $500, right? It's like you didn't do any work. So now you're not really able to take advantage of the fact that you can turn this into a really Amazon machine where you can make full-time income working part-time hours. But you can't really take advantage of that if you keep putting your hand in your cookie jar every single time. Like every time you make profit, you're using that to pay your bills. That's not the point of being able to build a sustainable business. So you have to learn how to delay gratification, not put your hand in the cookie jar, and really let the business grow. When I started with this business, I did not put my hand in the cookie jar. I didn't take any of the profits for at least 6 months. But I will say that to reach that whole process, it really took me 3 months to reach that 10K per month. And I really started with $400. Every single month, I was adding an extra 500 to 1,000 into my inventory just to be able to kind of accelerate things, go a little bit faster. And that's how I was able to get that 10K in 3 months. I know some other people, they've been able to do that in the first 30 days, which is absolutely insane. Like they never had any experience. They've been able to make it happen. I know some people that happen in 6 months. I know some people that happen in 12 months. It really just depends on where you're starting, how long it takes you to kind of understand the whole foundation. And also it depends on your capital, right? Because once again, if you understand how to make 1K, you understand how to make 20K a month. It's the process, I promise you, it's the exact same. It's just like instead of buying 50 units because you only have like $500, now it's about buying 5,000 of that same unit because you have more capital and you can actually sell it more on Amazon. So that's really what it's all about. And this is the 4 stages of the process you're gonna have to go through. So really maximum, it should really take you 12 months, 6 to 12 months, I would say, to get to the point where this is something that you're making recurrently and you actually have the option of doing this full time and, quitting your job and building up the legacy that you've always been wanting to build. So that's really the 4 stages that you're going to have to go through. And I will say once again, in that last stage, it's all about volume. If you're able to look at, 100, 200, 300 products a day, the more products that you look into, the better you're going to get at sourcing, the better you're going to get at figuring out the offer and demand, the more custom you're going to get at the Seller Central dashboard and knowing where to go, what to do. The more volume you're doing in that stage, this is how fast you're also going to get to that point. And obviously, like I said, having the proper capital. So this is the stage, once again, that you're going to have to go through. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is work 10 to 15 hours per week. It's sometimes more if you're, brand new to the business and you're trying to accelerate things. So that's really the process you're going to have to go through. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Now that you have full clarity on what it takes to get to that 10K. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.